Well, welcome into Pucknologists here, show number 89 on Teal Town, USA. I'm AJ_Strong on the Twitter, and we have Rocket Backhander with us as always.
Hey, I don't live at the gym 24/7. Rocket backhander.
All right, then. And Hockey Jerk, who doesn't live anywhere, evidently. We can't locate him. He can't find a webcam.
Uh, there's some information that I obviously keep to myself. You know, it's obviously very important. But we made it to episode number 89. Finally, the Mikhail Bodker episode we've been all waiting for.
Dude. How long you been waiting to use that, bro?
89 episodes?
About 30 seconds.
Oh,
when I realized what episode it was.
God.
Well, as always, find us on all the social media channels, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit. And if you really need to figure out a way that you might have a little insomnia, need to get to sleep, by all means, join us on Discord.
Put you right to sleep.
So, throw us a subscription if you would. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. It's all good. And remember, if you miss any of our shows, you can always find the audio portions on your favorite podcast platform, as well as the replay on YouTube. So, what a crappy week. What a crappy week. 0-3 versus Arizona, Carolina, and Vancouver.
Colorado.
Arizona. What did I say?
Carolina.
Oh, Carolina. Yeah, dude, it's just that kind of a week. Arizona, Colorado, Vancouver, 0-3. 4-5-1 in their last 10 games. A week ago, 6 points out of the wild card. Now 11. Good night. 6-3 loss to Arizona. Yeah, the game wasn't as close as that score indicates. Two empty netters. It's going to be one of those shows, people. The Sharks claw back to tie after giving the Yotes a 2-1-goal leads. I'm done. This is it. This is the end of 89. Thanks for watching. I'm leaving.
Good night, everyone. See you in Discord.
Sharks do little help for Dell. Burns and EK both have ridiculous turnovers. Bret Hedican going so far as to call EK65 lazy on the broadcast. We follow that up in Colorado where the Sharks get shut out. Jones allows a goal in the first 30 seconds. Then there's a goal with 3 seconds left in the first. Again, 4-0, making the game seem closer than it was. And then Vancouver, a 4-1 nightmare. Dell gets back in, but what you could put Patrick Waugh and Martin Brodeur in net right now. The Sharks are playing so poorly defensively and can't score a goddamn goal to save their lives that it really wouldn't matter. So, the course of the week for you, Hockey Jerk. I mean, what now?
Well, what now? I feel like in any other situation, this would be the time where you start to look to the entry draft in June and you think, okay, you know, what guy are we going to pick up here? But being that the Sharks don't have their first round pick, as bad as things are going, they still need to win as many games as they can, so that way Ottawa is picking, 12th instead of 5th.
Wait, the Sharks don't have their first round pick?
You know what? That's what my sources tell me. So.
Yeah, all the responses to Kevin Kurz, it sounded like they did. All right.
Wow.
Right. I guess for this week, if you want to look for something good, it's the All-Star Game / bye week. So, the Sharks will get a chance to reset, refresh, maybe kind of figure it out, see if they can't, bridge this gap a little bit, obviously. If I'm looking for something bad this week, 2 of those games that they lost were against divisional opponents they're trying to catch. So that doesn't help anybody at all except those teams. And for my I am unsure, will the good or the bad be prevalent coming out of the All-Star break? I am unsure because it could go either way.
Dude, Anaheim, Vancouver, Tampa, Calgary, Edmonton, Calgary. Those are the first 6 games out of the break. It's going to be bad. Rocket, your take on the week. Okay, then.
I mean, that's a pretty accurate representation, honestly.
I mean, and that seems to be the outstanding sentiment throughout most of the Sharks fandom and social media. So I just figured I would reflect that sentiment here.
Hey, got to look out for the uninformed fan.
Representation.
Oh, it's going to be one of those shows, people.
It
Yeah.
needs to be.
Yeah, at this point, I don't know. I'm wondering how many people like take a screenshot of what the roster is for the Sharks right now, because I would go so far as to say might look quite different come February 25th.
Yeah, well, that's. I mean, at this point, it is what it is. There's no point, There's no point bitching and moaning about what could be, right? You just have to. What is it?
I'm sorry. There's no point in bitching and moaning. Are we shutting Twitter down?
Well, no, we are shutting Facebook down.
Oh, God, that would be nice. That would be.
Good luck with that.
Yeah,
Please,
right?
God, let that happen.
No, I mean it's just it is what it is, right? And you just have to let eternal darkness consume you, and get an orange slice and get back out there next October.
All right.
That's what I've always looked forward to, an orange slice. So yeah, this is. I mean, the Sharks have to win like, I don't know, 30 of their next 32 games to make it. Forget it. Put it in the books, guys. It's done. Barring some ridiculous, and don't effing bring up St. Louis, because I don't want to hear it.
Now, here's my thing about this. Okay, is that not only do the Sharks need to lose, or excuse me, shoot, they only need to lose 2 games out of the remainder of the season, but the rest of the league needs to also exponentially take a nosedive at the same time. It could happen. It could happen.
Yeah. Yes. Could. Yes. Will it?
No.
I don't know. I am unsure.
I am unsure.
No, you should be aware, jerk. What are the Vegas odds on that?
I believe
2,000
the
to 1 right now.
I think right now the Sharks are 50 to 1 to win the cup, or maybe make the playoffs.
Oy.
One of those, but yeah, it's it's not good. It ain't good, Chief. It ain't good.
I mean, at this point, it just feels like, okay, we're going to identify a couple pieces. It's pretty much stuck with EK, whether you want him or not. You're pretty much stuck with Vlasic, whether you want him or not. The rest of them have modified no trade clauses. And when I say the rest of them, Kane, Couture, Burns, Jones. I mean, identify and go with what you're going to go forward. Build the team around EK, I guess, at this point. And that's it. Like anything else that isn't nailed down, I don't know. Throw it outside, get rid of it, do whatever you need to do. And the whole thing is, you see it on social media that, fire Wilson, get him the hell out of here. Anybody who comes in is going to have to do the same things. They're going to be handcuffed by the same contracts. So,
yeah, well, not only that, but I don't know. I don't know that you can. I don't know that you can fire a guy for doing everything he possibly can to build a good team, right?
yeah.
If he had done some boneheaded stuff, then 100% fire him. But the only thing Doug Wilson is guilty of is doing everything he can to make a winning team.
Dude, there was a team that was 3 points, 3 points out. They fired their coach. Anything can happen.
Well, it's also Vegas. It's Stanley Cup or die every year. So.
Because there's such a long and illustrious history.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, I remember when I was a kid, the Golden Knights won the cup every year.
Oh yeah, that was amazing, wasn't it?
Wow.
All right. Well, look, it's going to be a bad season. It's the rest of this, it's gonna hurt you. Try to find little things. Maybe I don't know, call up some CUDA guys. Maybe give guys a little bit of a look, a little bit of reward for playing well in the minors. Maybe you see what Blickfeld can offer you with an extended look. Maybe you take another look at a Noah Gregor. Maybe you finally see Sasha or Djokovic up with the big team. I don't know. But take advantage of do what you can. Use this to your advantage to try to give the guys, the young guys something. Christ.
AO 1 2 3 4 5. Knights do not tolerate failure. Sharks are at this moment a plus 6,600 on Bovada site.
Whatever. All right.
Those are good. Those are some. I'd take those odds.
Yeah. Let's get into some fun. All right. So Hurdle tweeted out just before, I believe it was the game versus either Colorado or Arizona, but tweeted out that, hey, guys, something new is coming to the tank, and that it's all the players are now going to be getting personal goal songs. How funny would it be if one of the guys said, yeah, could I have that Rock and Roll Part 2 song as my personal goal song?
Get out.
But Hurdle, makes the announcement. Logan kind of trolling him a little bit, put that, his song has to be Baby Got Back, right? Because of the whole big butt comment that LeBanc made about him earlier. LeBanc also tweeting that he thinks his song's going to be the best. I don't know that we'll hear it this season, but
Hey, now.
Leave LeBanc alone.
Well, and the other thing, dude, Joe Thornton has to be Alice in Chains Rooster. Come on. Dude, Ferraro's has to be the Super Mario theme. I mean,
No, dude, Ferraro's goal song is just going to be like the Apple Macintosh startup sound.
Oh.
I like that. So it'll be it's going to be fun to see what songs we actually hear.
So I don't want to make a whole segment out of this. I just want to say it really quick. So when you do the math, when you do some extrapolations, as AJ and I like to say,
yes.
LeBanc, if you can believe it, LeBanc is on pace to score the same amount of goals that he scored last year, which
17.
If you 17, so you're actually, I think he's on pace for 18. So you were talking about little victories. I would say that's a little victory. I mean, it's not better, but it's not worse, right?
Certainly not Timo Meyer right now.
Hey, how many goals does Detroit have so far this year?
Not enough. Detroit has scored 104 goals this year, and they've let in 189, which is staggering.
And you got to feel for them because the Tigers are never very good. The Lions perennially suck. The Pistons haven't been good. It's hard to be a Detroit fan right now, but you know what? There's a lot of championship banners that are hanging up that they can blow their nose in. Just saying.
If we speaking of Detroit, if we do our weekly check here, Detroit is on pace to win 20 games this season. And that's your weekly update.
Oh, the 92-93 Sharks are jealous of that record. Oh, all right. So another thing that came out this week is the Sharks have relaunched their Top of the Tank season pass. What this is, basically a nosebleed season ticket. And look, there's no bad seats. Actually, there is one bad seat at the tank. I know where it is. But aside from that, but nosebleed seats, $20 per game. I love this promo. $20 a game. And, I mean, let's see. Take a quick cursory look here. We got, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 15 or 16 games left. $20 a game. That's not too shabby. I don't know how the season ticket holder feels because what if, you're sitting next to homeboy that's got $20 ticket and you paid, $34 for yours. But the thing is, the season pass does not come with the 365 perks of getting in early and all the other little
swag.
Yeah, the ancillary product that comes with that. So either way, though, I still like it. It's a good thing.
Right, and so a couple things here. Number one, I didn't know that they stopped doing that. Number two,
or they didn't stop. They just hadn't promoted it in a while. I don't know.
Right. Well, we know how things roll here. But no, I think it's a great it's a great thing to bring back. I mean, you're trying to get butts in seats, right? And what better way to do it than to make those seats more affordable? And as for season ticket holders who might be a little peeved about it, I mean, I understand because obviously you're potentially paying $15 more a game to sit in the same section, but I mean, you made the choice to spend that money. Nobody forced you to do it, so you kind of have to be happy with what you got.
Oh, how dare you? How dare you remind people
I've been
that they are
a season ticket holder
responsible?
since 1991.
I don't know. $20. It just, I'm good with that.
I've had season tickets since the Cow Palace. I demand a hot towel right now.
Okay, Boomer, settle down.
Damn, dude. I know. All right. I think at this
Hot
point,
towel.
before we get back to any more Shark stuff, let's go around the league here because it was an interesting goddamn week. Okay. I'm trying to remember. We talked about Kassian. Yeah, Kassian and Tkachuk. That happened last Sunday, right? Just before we went.
we
went on there.
over it. Yeah, we glossed over it last week.
So since then, Kassian was given 2 games for ragdolling Tkachuk. And of course, just the scheduling gods making out like bandits that the next game that Kassian will be back in, amazingly enough, will be against the Calgary Flames. Now, from what I understand, some higher ups at the office have already talked to like the GMs of both clubs and said, look, put the kibosh on this crap. We don't want another shit show like last week. That said, I can't wait for this game.
I'm sorry that conversation never took place. Just from a rating standpoint, and the fact how much buzz that one interaction generated for the entire league. Are you kidding me? No, they are not going to say put the kibosh on it. They'll be like, could you just act like you're going to try? You don't need to, but just act like you're going to try.
If you're going to do anything, just keep it borderline so that we have time to deliberate about it.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
So we glossed over it, but since then, I've had time to look at it, but I am emphatically Team Kassian, where Jerk is emphatically Team Tkachuk. Yep,
and this goes to show you right here that you can disagree with somebody and still be their friend.
Fuck you. Nope.
I'm just saying, next time your high school friend says some sus stuff on Facebook, just leave it alone.
Just let it go. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like, my point is like, yeah, Kassian, I understand why he lost his mind. Like, he did go a little hardcore. That said, I do think Tkachuk should have answered the bell. I mean, when Tkachuk is taking 5-6 strides to make sure that he gets Kassian as hard as possible on the blind side, and again, the refs have a little bit of responsibility in this. You gotta, when the game gets this far, at some point the refs have to take a little bit of responsibility for what's going on. But your take on Tkachuk?
So with Tkachuk, I mean, and yeah, I'll say that the first hit that Tkachuk put on Kassian, 100% was charging. That's a 2-minute penalty in my book.
And was it called?
No, it was not called. But you look at the principal point of contact, which in all 3 instances was the shoulder and torso area. So not head hunting, not targeting the head at all there. I said it on Twitter, but how is it Matt Tkachuk's fault if Kassian's helmet is not strapped on properly? Secondly, you know what? I don't really have any sympathy for Kassian, considering he has run over guys the same way that Tkachuk has, but he's also targeted guys in the head. And never once did anybody complain about that. Yeah, exactly. AO backing me up here. Kassian does that stuff all the time. I remember him running over Brendan Dillon in a playoff series a few years ago. It was not a clean hit, and nobody bitched and moaned about it. And so now you have Kassian, who, again, is supposed to be the muscle, the tough guy, and he's whining to the media, oh, he hit me with a clean hit. I 100% agree with Tkachuk. If you don't like it, get off the tracks.
That was such a rock star quote too, man.
Yeah, and I don't know if anything's official yet, but I did hear that Kassian is close to an extension with the Oilers, and if this is in fact true, I'm laughing my ass off because that is a terrifying AAV for a perennial grinder who got hot once.
Nice. All right, let's move it on. It's been, ladies and gentlemen, a hell of a week for Brad Marchand. Let me let you know. A hell of a week. So earlier this week against the Philadelphia Flyers, if I remember correctly, Boston had like a 2-goal lead in this game, coughed it up. Either way, it ends up going to the shootout. Goes like 6 or 7 rounds, but it comes down to and for like the first 6 rounds, everything was stopped. Everything. And then, oh, God, I can never pronounce the guy's name from Philly. But Cossini, that's what it looks like it is. But how do you pronounce it?
Konechny.
Okay, there. That's how they. Okay, whatever.
Are we talking about the same person?
Yeah, we are.
Maybe.
But it looks like it says Cossini or something. Whatever. I'm telling you. Can we get like phonetic spellings? You know how they do.
Media guides get those.
No, I
emojis.
get that, but you know how they do those? The Barracuda recently did warm-up jerseys where instead of their nameplates, it was like nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get ones that it just has like phonetic pronunciations on the back? I think that would be great. But anyway, after 6 rounds, homeboy, say his name again?
Konechny.
He scores, so now it's up to Brad Marchand to try to tie this up and keep it going. And Marchand, this has to be harder than actually scoring. To come across the middle, just graze the top of the puck so lightly that you do in fact move it. But this has to be more difficult than actually scoring a goal, to be able to come that close that you barely touch it, but you barely move it. I'm just saying. So anyway, and he got tore up on social media, as of course you should when you pull something like that off. I want to say, was it Pete Blackburn? There was a couple NHL guys going, and Brad Marchand with the worst shootout attempt in the history of the NHL. It was fantastic. And then friend of the show, Andy Man at Bleeding Teal, trolls him a little bit. Now, look, Andy Man, nice guy. And I don't mean to talk negatively about follows or use that as like a slam. Not a lot of people have a lot of follows. It's a big effing deal. I think Andy Man has somewhere in the neighborhood of like 800 follows. Brad Marchand has like 62 million follows. And Andy Man gives him a little bit of a troll. Something about what was it? I'm sure Jerk is like pulling this up now, but Andy Man gives him a little bit of troll, and Marchand actually responds to him.
Shut up! Really?
Takes the time to respond to him, and then it like, I don't know, 2 hours later, his phone was exploding. It ends up on like Barstool. It ends up on Spittin' Chicklets. It went everywhere. Jerk, fill us in. Oh, Jerk is evidently looking for things. Nice.
Jerk's on assignment right now.
Yeah, he just went on assignment. But either way.
Wow, no, I'm here. I was muted. My mistake.
My bad.
Yeah, so and how many times have we all chimed in to troll somebody, right? I mean, it's something that we've all done quite a few times, and I I got to be honest, I'm a little shocked that Brad Marchand actually responded, just because it's not like you never see, especially like a pro athlete, right? You never see them like get rattled by like what somebody random on Twitter said. But
you might see back in the day, occasionally you'd see Roberto Luongo come back, but it would be something funny and self-deprecating.
Right.
Marchand was triggered.
Right. So that night, Marchand posts a picture on Twitter of when he won the Stanley Cup, which is and it's an appropriate receipt to pull up, if you ask me. And Andy Man circles back and is like, "That's great and all, but at least I can pick up the puck cleanly in the shootout. Also, I'm sure last night is going over real well in the group text." And and Brad Marchand turns around and says, "Your shootout is in your driveway, not the NHL, peasant. You pretend to be me in your backyard. Dream big, bud."
Why would you take the time? That's the whole thing that I didn't get. I'm like, dude, you're a professional athlete.
Can someone please get him a jersey made, Andy? Can we get him a jersey made that just is like peasant 19 or something on it?
Yeah. Oh, well, no, it's got a peasant 63. And
Yeah.
Well, and the best part of all of it is that so Andy Man, his @ is obviously still Bleeding Teal, but his like name on Twitter, he changed it to Peasant of San Jose. and yeah, like you said, AJ, just stuff like that. It can even make the small town folks explode. I mean, Andy Man's tweet has 1,200 likes on it, and a lot of replies, one of which says, seems like Brad is handling the whole situation about as well as he handled the puck.
Yes. Well, and it didn't get much better for Marchand, because like a couple games later, he gets a breakaway and completely screwed it up, but fanned, and then got the puck again, and then missed it again. I mean, horrible week. And even the guys calling the game, they're like, geez, this guy can't buy a chance this week.
Well, and what this has showed me is that, Marchand evidently likes is a pot stirrer on Twitter himself, which I vaguely knew, but again, you never really look into it too much. But he said on Twitter a couple days ago, like, oh, hands have been lost. If found, please return to TD Garden, as if saying like you're gonna get these hands. But tough week for Marchand, and then to wrap it up, the Canucks used his likeness on their Lunar New Year jerseys. I mean, it's brutal.
I knew there was a Lunar New Year joke in there somewhere. I knew it.
For those who don't know, it is the Year of the Rat coming up.
Nice. We'd also like to boil down, this happened earlier this week, we'd like to boil down the seasons for the California hockey teams in a single GIF. And so this will do it for you. Lindholm tries to find the net, runs into Gibson, and St. Louis goes, why, thank you very much. I will just bury this right here. So, yeah, this is California hockey right now in a single GIF. This is just the way it's happening. I still blown away by that. It was amazing. Oh, and then finally, in things that kind of went off the rails the other night. Oh, Corey Perry, never change, bud. Never change. A game between Dallas and Minnesota. If I remember correctly, Minnesota shut them out 7-0, and to top it all, this hit happens, and there's 5 minutes left in the game. And, Perry skates into the crease, and I get it, he's going after the puck, but dear God, man, you just got off a suspension. Really? So, I mean, Jerk, you were Team Perry on this.
I am. I think if you pulled the footage back again, especially the overhead view, I think it's pretty clear to see that in that instance, it's unavoidable contact on Perry's part. I mean, his other option is to completely blow over Stalock or blow right into number 21 on the Wild. And I think considering the course of action he took, that was probably the best possible option. So I think it was unavoidable contact from there. And he also did not he didn't hit him with the running knee like he was in a wrestling ring. He just skated into him. It's not as bad as I think it looks. And I think, and obviously, look, there's no denying Stalock got hit in the head. And as somebody who's had a head injury before, specifically from sports, I can tell you that one of the symptoms of head injuries, head trauma like that, is in the moment being very upset, anger, irrational anger. And so I'm not surprised that Stalock blew up like this. But again, I think considering how soft that knee bump, if you will, actually was, I think Stalock wrongfully lost his mind there.
I don't know. But Stalock, boy, his response in the moment, it's all over Twitter.
Stalock was hot.
Yeah, I think he had an 8-word response, and half the words were the F word. So, yeah, that was solid. But we move on. So recently, the Golden Knights got booed off their own ice after a 3-0 loss to Columbus. If you're a VGK fan, you can now stop with the whole bullshit narrative that you're the best fans and everyone else is horrible because you show up for everything and blah, blah, blah. You guys can end that crap right now. But Vegas, as Jerk mentioned earlier, panic mode, firing Gallant despite the fact that they're only 3 points out. This is the 7th coaching change of this season. And I believe the 3rd coaching change this season where when it happened, it had to be said that this has nothing to do with like off-ice suspect behavior.
Antics.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. Maybe this is an overreaction to a losing streak. Is this Berube's fault because everybody looks at St. Louis? Well, you know what? St. Louis won the entire thing last year after they fired their coach. I don't know how you let go of a coach who took the team to the Cup final 2 seasons ago and you take the 5-minute major out of Game 7. Maybe, who knows how far Vegas goes in that series. Maybe they go to the Western Conference Finals as well. But the best part of this is that when the firing happened, Gallant was the longest tenured bench boss in the Pacific Division at the time of it. Let that sink in, okay? And then to top things off, they go with Peter DeBoer. And Sinbin is hot. Sinbin is so hot on this.
It's a weird move, man.
Yeah,
It's a weird move. And okay, so I'm gonna say this especially because like I know this one wee bit of information about Pete in that in Pete as a coach, you get 1 good year. That's your first year with him.
But I think it needs to be a full one, but I don't know.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, so it was in New Jersey and it was in San Jose. But so like, is this last 6 months going to be the good full year, or are they just going to get this 6 months and the next year is going to be their good full year? That's what I want to know.
Remains to be seen.
Next year's going to be hard if they're going to try to win anything. I'm sorry. There's too many young, strong contenders coming up for Vegas to dick around with them.
Well, and how pissed off are you right now at the scheduling gods because there's no more games between Vegas and San Jose this season? Although with the way San Jose is playing this year, it's probably for the best.
I don't want to see them against each other. There's always a stack of injuries afterwards. There's like a dust cloud, and a medic comes in with like a tank full of whatever, like blood, and they just juice them all up, put them in a hyperbaric chamber, and then like that's bad. I'm glad they're done for the season.
Yeah. So Bob Bugner is the interim coach for the Sharks right now. Imagine Doug Wilson's like, we don't think you're what we're looking for, Boogie. And imagine the Sharks hired Gallant as their coach.
Okay.
Dude.
I think the world would burn down.
I you know what? As a Sharks fan, I'm like, fine, fuck it. If the horse we're riding is called Chaos, giddy up.
Dude, for me, the whole Bugner thing, it's like, when you're holding out for Miss Right, you settle for Miss Right now.
Hey, sometimes they're the same person.
Hey, now. Like my wife. Okay, so the best part about this, Gallant was scheduled to coach the Pacific Division in the All-Star Game. Now, Gallant is no longer coaching. They brought Rick Tocchet in, proving that, John Scott was probably busy. Just saying. And when is that guy busy? We do more podcasting than that guy. Come on.
Yeah, but he's got like 5 very small little girls.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right. You fair point, I shall say. The other thing for NHL All-Star Weekend coming up, as we know, Tomas Hertl is taking Logan's place in that. I'm still not sure if we're going to see something. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody else pulls out at the last minute. Phrasing. But the other issue, the NHL All-Star Weekend has added an elite women's 3-on-3 game. How do we feel about this? I think this is going to be more fun than the actual All-Star Game, to be quite honest.
I think it's good. I think women's hockey, it needs exposure, and it's needed exposure for a while. And I think this is a good platform to put it on, especially something like the All-Star Game, right? Where you have league sponsors and league higher ups all with their eyes on the game. Not only that, but as we've said many times before, the All-Star Game is for the kids, right? So let's say, you picture, if you will, here, a 7-year-old Rocket backhander, and she turns on the TV and she's watching Kendall Coyne Schofield blow circles around people on the ice. Boom. Instant interest. Done. And that was like 2 seconds. So I think it's a great way to get exposure for women's hockey, but also, as AJ and I have talked about, the NHL needs to find a way to make the All-Star Game more fun and more interesting. This is one of the ways you do it. Another way you do it is you just look at the KHL's English language Twitter account and you watch their videos, because that could be another option.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, Rocket. I am all for exposing women.
Jesus Christ. You're going to get canceled for saying that.
Exactly. Yeah, I think
when
it's
you
great
said it, dude,
to
Rocket literally sat there and went,
exposure. No, I think it's great. I think that women's hockey does need exposure. Definitely. Women's sports need exposure. And it was exhilarating to watch the speed competition last year. Mm-hmm. So I think this year it will be fun to watch the 3-on-3 competition. And I think even more so because, a lot of the NHL guys are they're not done with their professional season. They're still doing the thing, and they've got other things on their mind that they might not. I mean, they're going to go out there and tap it around and have a couple of fun looks and play with their friends. But I don't think it'll be very exciting. You know what I mean? So I think that this will add an element of excitement to the game as well as exposure of women's sports.
Well, and also too, I mean, as we've talked about, Rocket, right? Where the women's hockey, the women's players, they want exposure and they want to be taken seriously, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think, they're going to want their cookies in this situation. So I imagine in their 3-on-3 game, they're going to treat it as a real game to show viewers and sponsors and all this stuff like, hey, women's hockey can be just as interesting as men's hockey, and if you recall, God, when was that? Like 2 years ago, that USA and Canada women's exhibition game that was at the Tank. I went to that game. That game was lit. It was really good game, and USA lost, but I still enjoyed myself.
Okay.
I know. Speaking of 3-on-3, another thing that you love to see it. Hockey Jerk trademark. New 3-on-3 hockey league has gotten a TV deal with TSN CBS Sports. Games will be played on a full-sized rink. I don't know why you wouldn't, but consisting of 2 8-minute halves with a running clock. The league format will feature 7 single-elimination games with a champion crowned in each of the 9 cities the league plans to stop in. There will be 8 teams, each with 7 players and a coach, called 3 Ice, and it's due to launch in June 2021. I'll tell you why I absolutely love this. Is because it's launching in June. Okay? June. When the only thing there is friggin' baseball. Okay? Mm-hmm. I think they're launching they're trying to reboot the XFL. And
yep.
So it's when are we going to do this? Oh, let's do it the week after they hand out the Super Bowl trophy and everybody is sick of football. You know what I mean? I don't understand why you don't play those games during the summer. I think that was one of the reasons why the Arena Football League didn't, because they tried to do it at the same time. Do it during the summer when literally the only goddamn thing out there is baseball. And who doesn't want to go inside a nice, chilly hockey arena when it's 97 degrees outside? Okay? Mm-hmm. This is a good thing. I can't wait for June 2021 is what I'm saying.
Not only that, but the 3-on-3 hockey, some would say, is the most exciting part of hockey in general.
Certainly not a Brad Marchand shootout, but yes.
Right. So I think it's exciting. And, if this league, if they do decide to stop in Las Vegas or San Jose,
Oh yeah.
I'll be there. We're gonna have to work out a deal. Maybe get one of those fancy lanyards with a piece of plastic hanging from it. You know, that. And my last comment on that is you said it's called 3 ice and it's spelled the number 3 ICE. I'm looking at that. All I see is thrice. So I'm gonna call it thrice.
I'm fine with it. I hope it's I hope it stops in San Jose just because that's usually around the time as well when they do the prospects game. So ice could be down already.
Do we have any idea of like a player pool for this thing? Like who's involved at all?
No. But
Like, can NHL players jump into this?
I don't know. I just really, 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 really want John Scott to be like the commissioner of this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I think that would just be exquisite. Hot Wheels telling me that people don't get sick of football. There are some that do.
Clearly, you've never met me.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So it wouldn't be a show. It wouldn't be a weekly show with it. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think that we had a Fanatics fuck up of the week last week. So
No.
this week we bring you two. This was a jersey done by the Fanatics that I found. And so my point is, does nobody give the monkeys running the stitching and heat press like a, I don't know, do they not pay attention to the work order? Is there not a roster? Do none of these people have the internet?
I don't know what the internet's like in Indonesia, but
yeah, I don't think they have electricity or indoor plumbing.
I mean, just really. And
Really?
Jerk and I talked about this. There's no way that the 6 on the sleeve is not an upside down 9. You know?
Yeah.
Like the a 6 and a 9 have different, you know, the hole, if you will. Man, we're so much innuendo in this episode. The hole is usually bigger for a 6. That's either way. Fanatics. Oh,
So, are you saying that the 6 hole is bigger than the 5 hole?
You would be correct.
yes.
Okay, just making sure. Sorry, I had to.
Now, that is, you know, okay, you can almost look at this screw up and say, well, you know, they're clearly not paying attention, and they said they were handed it so it looked like a 6 when somebody gave it to them, and they just automatically went, I'm almost surprised they didn't put 63, to be quite honest.
What I do when you're 10?
Wow. Oh, man, shit just got real. All right. So, at least with this, you can almost say, okay, someone just was like asleep at the wheel that wasn't on Discord late last night. But how about this one? I mean, seriously, how do you screw that up? It's 3 goddamn letters, man. And you still screwed it up. You had one job. Frick. Okay? Not fucker. Frick.
It's FERC.
Ferk. It's Ferk.
Wow, whatever. Oh my God. You know, just Fanatics, never stop being you. Just please don't. Please don't.
You get what you pay for. So when you hire children, you get Dr. Seuss.
Clearly. So with that, a couple things that I do want to promote on the website. It was evidently article week at tealtownusa.com. Ian put together a 4-part series about selling the Sharks. An article focused on the defense, 2 separate ones on the forward group, and one for the goalies. I encourage you to go check that out. I did a couple articles, one on the new 1991 club that recently came out, along with the changes that are coming to the Pro Shop. And if you are a San Jose fan that lives outside the Bay Area and you're very upset that your only option to get Sharks merchandise is through that nightmare of a website, shop.nhl.com, because it's a Fanatics experience, hold on to your money for about a month or ish, because you're going to see a new website, and it's going to be amazing, and you're going to be able to get some cool stuff. So I encourage you to go look at that. And the other one is we're going to see some changes. At least I'm betting on. I'm speculating. I'm rumor mongering, if you will, that the Sharks for the 30th anniversary next season, I think we're going to see that old crest make a return as it did in the 20th and 25th seasons. So anyway, you can find all of that on the website along with our latest interview with Doug Bentz, VP of Marketing and Digital there. So go check those out. Did anything else happen between all this? I mean, I was busy watching some football today. I know Hockey Jerk wasn't. So did anything else?
I actually did watch the 49ers game for some reason.
That's so weird.
Were you like tied to a chair or something? Or did it just happen to be on next to the craps table you were at?
No, I actually put it on. I don't know. This was kind of, the bye week and the All-Star game obviously being next week. It was kind of a light week for the NHL. No real, I guess, worthwhile storylines going on. I mean, I guess one that I can think of off the top of my head is, since signing with Montreal, Ilya Kovalchuk is point per game through 7 games. Actually, I do have one thing, and I know Rocket will love this. The Boston Bruins.
He's been talking about this Covey thing for a week now. It's great.
The Bruins from Boston. They put they put David Backes on waivers and sent him to the AHL.
I can't believe that. I could not believe that.
And I don't know. Clearly, that stuff Steve Ott gave him is wearing off.
I knew that was going to come into play.
Jeez. Hold on, but you brought up the Bruins. Let's watch it again, shall we? Just. He forgot the puck.
I hear what is it? The Folgers instant coffee guy in the background. We've secretly cut 2 inches off of all of Brad Marchand's sticks. Let's see if he notices.
Dude, who was it? It was just a couple weeks ago, I thought. I want to say maybe it was it one of the Capitals? There was a shot of some dude at practice, and I shit you not, dude holding a 10-foot long stick.
I saw that.
Yeah, did you saw that? And I'm like, if someone doesn't take
that.
If someone doesn't take one of those and put it in Marchand's locker the next day after he whiffed, I'm like, that somebody screwed up somewhere.
Question: If I were to send you DM you a picture on Instagram, how easily could you throw it up onto the show here? Is that an easy thing?
Let's try it. What the hell do we have to lose at this point?
Well, and we've kept the show to a tight 45, so I think we can afford a quick little thing. This is an old picture from 3.5 years ago, but it's the gift that keeps on giving. I just want you to throw it up.
That's where he's crying, is it?
Rocket, you know me so well.
Oh.
Okay, let's see. You guys can talk for a minute. Rocket working on some crispy bangs over here.
Right. I'm trying to grow them out a little bit more, and then I'm going to cut them again because that's what you do when you have bangs, or as I like to call it, a cape for my forehead.
Really, dude? This is what we're going with.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It just is a beautiful thing.
Oh, for Pete's sakes.
Yeah. So. I think it's like I said with the bye week and the All-Star game and all that stuff coming up. I think it's a good it's a good time, because I think everything in Sharkland it's kind of a disaster right now, and you sort of need that time to just unplug and kind of reset everything. Even if nothing gets better coming out of the break, I still think it'll be good for the Sharks to just kind of take a load off and kind of get things screwed on straight,
A little vacation time in Cabo San Lucas.
Yeah, and have random people call you out on Instagram.
Well, and it's funny you mention that because I don't know if you follow any of the Sharks on social media. I think it was Sorensen, Suomela. Half of them are already in Waikiki.
Yeah. Couture's in Cabo.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Couture's got to hobble around in Cabo. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, no, like I sent you that he's posted up a group picture on Instagram, and some jerk off was like, "Oh, I expected you to be training to get better."
Yeah, and
And
he's like, I'm going to
Couture
cast,
was
dude.
like-
We got a mandated week off. What the hell do you want me to do?
I'm not letting live in the gym. I'm like, get it, buddy.
Well, either way, those guys just. Although Timo Meyer and EK65 both taking in the Sharks game or the 49ers game today,
Which the video the Sharks posted after the game was over. That was an amazing video. I don't know if you saw it, but that was. Oh, baby.
Okay. Explain to me why I'm putting this up right now.
Yes. So that is.
I mean, why? Why am I posting this right now?
That's David Backus, and because Steve I gave him some stuff.
Yeah, Jerk was telling me this story. Oh, Christ
so
almighty.
That's the media scrum from after the Sharks eliminated the Blues in 16, and David Backus is crying because they lost, and it's this whole thing where he's like, he's very sad, and he's like, I'm not feeling good, and Steve Ott gives me something to make me feel better. And,
what was it, a blowjob?
Well, and he's like, Steve Ott gives me something to make me feel better, and I'm taking his spot in the lineup, and that's the kind of guys we have here in this room, and it just sucks we lost. And he was like all distraught about it. But the thing that I took from that was Steve Ott gave me something to make me feel better. Something.
Stuff.
Yeah, Steve Ott gave him some stuff, whatever that might be. And no, that picture is just a gift that keeps on giving. It's David Backus crying.
Oh boy! All right.
That is almost a 4-year-old picture.
Jesus.
Wow.
All right.
Time flies.
It really does.
So good to like you said, tight 45. I like it. So I think it's time to wrap this up. For those our loyal listeners and watchers, of course, we can't thank you enough. Do us a favor, hit the subscribe button if you would. If you haven't already, tell a friend. We will likely be off next weekend because, hey, there's going to be no Sharks games to talk about this week. And unless something amazing happens at the All-Star Game, I could use the time off myself. So
wow,
maybe I'll go to Hawaii.
I thought we would be in the podcast gym training.
That's right. With the cast on our foot, yes.
Yeah.
Both feet.
Yeah. So we'll be off next week. So we'll let's see. Let me whip out. Oh, wrong calendar. Whip this out. Well, it's because let's be honest.
February.
You know how hard it is to read this calendar. It's very difficult.
February 2nd.
Yes. So lots to talk about. Anaheim, Vancouver, Tampa Bay. That's going to be fun. And I know for a fact there's going to be something really interesting to talk about during the next show because something is on the horizon, and it will be occurring during the Anaheim game. I know that. So we're going to have something fun to talk about there. So, again, thanks for watching the show. Jerk, last looks.
Okay, so everything's kind of a disaster right now. As Rocket and I were saying, this 9-day break will be nice for the Sharks to relax, reset, and kind of get back to business here. But I mean, even if the Sharks are missing the playoffs this year, they still need to win every game that they can. And so, don't look at it as we are X points away. Just one game at a time. You just got to win one. And just look forward. You can't afford to look too far forward. You just got to live in the now. You also should follow me on Twitter at @hockey_jerk. Big things are happening, as I always say. Nothing in particular. I just like saying that.
Constantly looking for cookies. We know.
I love cookies, dude. Chocolate chip and snickerdoodle. So, if you have some cookies, let me know.
All right. The recently chapped-lipped Rocket.
And now they're all sparkly. Hello.
All sparkly glowy.
Yeah, no, I'm sick of this season. I'm sure the rest of everybody is sick of this season. But you know what? We're gonna mire in it for the rest of the duration because we are Sharks fans. We will do it without crying and complaining as much as possible. Big group, I'm looking at you. My name is Rocket Backhander. Check me out on social media, Twitter, capital R, capital B, little Backhander76. That's R Backhander76 on Twitter, talking about all the fun stuff. Or check me out on Instagram, photographic representation of the just goofy things that go on in my brain. Rocket Backhander, one word.
I am AJ. Holy fricker. Oh, I love that. That's gonna be. I'm gonna use that in some way. Avatar, whatever. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Follow us on the social media channels as always. If you missed the show, catch it on your favorite podcast platform. Blah 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 blah. I'm AJ_Strong. You can find me on social media, and yeah, whatever. Another show in the books. We'll be here. Oh, I can't believe you invoked Bodker. I think that's why it went sideways from the beginning, to be quite honest. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for episode 90. Don't know who.
Ivan Yuzhenkov.
There you go. We're good. Have a good night, everyone. See you in 2 weeks.
And don't
Bye.
follow.